Corruption is paid by the poor, by Pope Francis. Corruption is a cancer that eats away us at the citizens' faith in democracy, diminishes the instinct of innovation and creativity, according to U.S. President Joe Biden. Corruption is defined as unscrupulous use of politicians' authority for personal gain. Corruption is universal. It is persuasive and has been around for so long that you could truly say that it is old as humanity. The Philippines is one of the countries that has most been the list of most corrupt worldwide. It has been most constant problem for every administration to eliminate and fighting corruption is one of the principal thrusts of the government. We do not exact numbers on how huge our country's problem is corruption, but every Filipino adult has already encountered corruption at one point of their lives. Based on the Transparency International Corruption Last 2020 Perception Index, the Philippines ranked 115 out of 179 most corrupt countries, although no longer among the worst countries in terms of corruption, is considered a corruption challenged country. We are already hearing news reports of plunderings of funds, the most famous case being the misuse of the Priority Development Assistance Funds, or more known as the pork barrel scam. The Filipino people have the right to feel distrust towards the government. It is more important to understand the root because the corruption in the Philippine government. The Philippines is a third world country, and the corruption in the government does not help alleviate matters. What we need is to changing right now. We must know where the problem comes from and take necessary steps towards solving it. Common causes of corruption are absence, weakness of leadership, weakness of religion influence, colonialism, lack of and absence of strict measures and accountability, and most important is the structure of our government. Why do we need to stop corruption? The impacts of corruption greatly affects the most vulnerable people in society. Widespread corruption deters investment, weakens economic growth, undermines the rule of law. It increases poverty and widens inequalities and hinders economic growth. Anti-corruption campaign should also be a top priority as this will make the people more aware. Educational public about the government's responsibility to be corruption-free, equal and fair justice for all cruciality to the country's stability and growth. Strength, raise awareness among the public, the media, and the government about the cost of corruption of the key services such as health and education. The base of principle is to reduce the opportunities and motivate for corruption. More over efforts must be directed more at reforming systems rather than installing the right persons in the leadership or influential positions through political means. In 2022, Philippines national elections is coming. We should always choose to have the right leaders, those with a strong political end will commit to fighting corruption, but they would still need necessary systems, institutions in order to succeed on sustainable basis. We need to educate youth of our country about what ethical behavior is, what corruption is, how to fight, and encourage them to demand their right to education. Ensuring the future generations of citizens are brought up to expect corruption-free countries in one of the best tools to ensure a bright future. One of the ways we can fight corruption is through the use of social media. The social media is now considered to be the most widely accessible and independent as compared to traditional. Social media fights corruption by providing information in the form of analysis, commentary, and educational through investigation and crowdsourcing. The media investigate journalism played a crucial role in bringing allegations to corrupt to every light and fighting against impunity. It is also affecting other people by making them that everything in the internet is real. So they be scammed and get corrupted. We need to be mindful about what we read and what we see in the internet. We need to research first and not believe anything at once until we verify it from a legitimate source. Senior Director Densky, head of Partnering Against Corruption Innovates World Economic Fund, said in an exclusive interview with Inquirer.net in 2014 said that on the issue of transparency, this is where technology really plays a role through its tools for society. For social media, that gives more transparent and exclusive voice to the public. She pointed to the corruption reporting website www.ipadabribe.com in India as primary example of how the public can hit against the corruption even at the lowest levels of the government. The website alone received more than 26,000 reports of bribes across 671 cities throughout India as of May 2014. The government agency with the highest reported bribes paid is with the police is at 5,900 reports. The website encourages the public to report bribes and even specific details such as nature, number, pattern types, location, frequency, and values of the actual corrupt acts. And it also allows the public to report those who refuse to receive bribes so they can be whitelisted. Another example of the media fighting against freedom of speech and corruption is the case of Maria Ressa, who is being harassed and sued by the government of Cyber Libel and found guilty together with their company Rappel. She was convicted to face up 6 years in prison. The urge others fighting for freedom, stating we are precise if we fall over, we're no longer a democracy. Ang hilig ng bawat Pilipino na sana'y umayos ang sistema ng ating gobyerno, lalo na matrangka, so nila mahirapan umpisa, pero kapag ito ay hinigpitan at inayos at magiging maganda ang hinaharap ng mga susunod na henerasyon. Tayo ay magiging mapagmatsyag lalo na sa mga darating na election sa Mayo 2022 gamit ang social media. Thank you.